Hello. This will go out a tad belatedly. There was a new moon in the early hours of the morning here in San Francisco, a new moon and solar eclipse, which is always intense. It was actually visible, I believe, in the UK. I don't think it was a full solar eclipse there, but was very dramatic. I saw some pictures of it thanks to some of you viewers in the UK. Thank you very much. Um, the solar eclipses are traditionally negative, but that's not really, accurate anymore. What it means is that the moon, the lunar or subconscious or emotional side of the self can be blocking the rational side. This is not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just something to take into account. Anytime the sun and moon are close together, which is on a new moon, there can be a tendency for things to get intense, for people to not be able to distinguish between, thoughts and feelings, to take things very intensely. Sometimes people can really feel like they need social interaction, but there can also be like difficulty finding it other than in yourself. So new moons are traditionally a time to go within to some extent, and it's a time to begin new projects, new moons traditionally. Now, the sun would be the active, energizing influence that starts a new project, and the moon would be more passive and lunar. So you can see there's a bit of a mixed message right there. However, this new moon solar eclipse was at the very end of Pisces, almost Aries, and we have a lot of positive aspects for you fire signs out there, for Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And that would be helpful for most of the air signs as well, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. There's a grand trine, and there's a lot of positive, energizing activity that actually helps fire signs, which traditionally are not known for their stick-to-itiveness. That with Saturn in Sagittarius, there's a little bit more of that, a little bit more ability to follow through and kind of really stick to it, which again is not the strength of fire signs. With the moon in Pisces so close to the beginning of Aries, that's a very peculiar kind of cusp transition, because it's from the very end of the zodiac where things are all expansive and very spiritual and sort of non-egotistic, where boundaries are lost, to Aries, which is very much about the self, and I need this, and I'm going to do this, and this is where I'm going. So it can be a little bit of a schizophrenic time. Also, with all of the aspects happening right now, the fire sign aspects, there can be a tendency towards anger, towards sudden outbursts of rage, or at the same time there could be sudden outbursts of inspiration and energy. But that energy can, as I said, also can suddenly take a kind of negative turn depending upon your chart, and also just depending upon what's going on with you inside, and how aware you are, how much you're using the energy of the solar eclipse to actually really delve into the emotions that might subconsciously be pushing you forward. This is an extremely intense solar eclipse. There's a lot of planets together at that Aries Pisces border, and most of the positive aspects are made to like I said, to the fire signs. So for some signs, it can be a little bit more challenging. That might be the earth and water signs, but it can be any of a number of the astrological signs, and for you, depending upon what's going on in your chart. And as I said, the way that would tend to take place could be anger, which can also kind of turn against yourself and become depression. That's those two poles, and those two kind of like those two kinds of intensity between feeling like a great wellspring of kind of sadness and pain, or anger and frustration and a kind of thoughtless drive to push ahead. These are the more difficult ways this can express itself. The way to get through it is with patience. That's not an easy trait to come about right now. That's not so much emphasized, but just whatever amount of that you can bring to bear on what's happening right now, it will help. Things don't have to happen all at once. They happen in their own time, no matter what you think should be happening. And the driving force to like an Aries, to get things done the way that you think should be done, this can be an extraordinarily positive and helpful thing correctly used. But it can be negative if you turn it into, a whip to beat yourself up with, or if you get overly lost in it and think that it's all that exists. That's the biggest problem with Aries, thinking that their will is all that exists. It's the I Ching says that to pursue what one desires, that is wisdom. But at the same time, to think that the only thing exists is your will, that is pretty much the height of foolishness. So bear with the both exciting and energizing and sometimes completely overwhelming and frustrating energy of this very powerful new moon solar eclipse. And I will talk to you soon. Enjoy.